Hello everyone, and welcome to another webcast of Time to Take Notice. My name's Alexandra, also known as Monica Foster of TimeToTakeNotice.com and MonicaAtHome.com. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing and introducing you all to a young man by the name of Alex, who really grabbed my attention by producing a series of extraordinarily compelling YouTube videos which relate his experiences with bullying, stalking, harassment, and gay bashing. But before I go any further, let me introduce you all to Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am great. I am great. We're getting this webcast together, aren't we?
Yes.
All right. Now, I first came across your writing on a very well put together blog about a year ago, actually, which is how you connected with me on Twitter as of recent. But tell me a bit about that blog and tell me what was going on in your life at that time, because it actually circles around being abused and you finally taking a stand, but unfortunately being condemned for it.
Low Rent Sabbatical was a rewrite of an old blog that I'd written called Delusional and Directional Aspects. I've had family and friends that were supposed to be there. Now, I always had a notion that there might have been something bigger, but I never realized it because I was going through so many traumatic situations. Kind of going back and forth, it kind of, makes you look disturbed. And finally, I came to a point, somehow, some way, where everything started to fall apart, that I actually had to go back to my past and refigure it out for myself by ripping out every piece of document that I could get my hands on. And Lord and behold, I was pretty much right at the end. So that pretty much said, well, how does one person now get over this? Well, I'm going to voice my opinions on this blog because I've done it before. Put the truth out there to somebody else that probably is a little higher educated or someone who is low rent. And I hate to use the term low rent, but you gotta own it. Just try to learn from those experiences and try to at least find a way to get yourself out there, to get what needs to be spoken for, to get your truth out there.
Yeah, and so essentially with that blog, you decided to share your side of what happened at that point in time, which I think is excellent to do because there always are two sides, maybe even more sides to every story. And I think that's an excellent thing, but as a result, it seems to me, from what we've talked about a little bit earlier, a lot of people have deemed you as being, a drama queen, as being, as being someone who is just out to cause trouble, when in actuality that is not the case. Because I actually think that's where some of your bullying has stemmed from. But speaking of the bullying, let's cut to the current now. I want you to explain to the audience about what just recently happened to you at Crunch Gym, because I believe it was an instance of not just bullying, but I think it was an instance of homophobia and gay bashing, which is not acceptable in today's society. So please relate.
Yes, I encountered it. I go to the gym and I've had one personal trainer just stand beside me and just literally just staring at me at this machine. And I do a very extreme workout, but it's very long. But unfortunately, this person's looking at me in such a way. And then actually, I had my earbuds on, but I had it turned off. And the person said, you know what, I'm just waiting to get on the machine. I'm waiting for this to get on this machine because of this fucking retard over here. Now, it's been going on for a long time. I mean, customers look at me a little bit weird.
How long would you say this has been happening to you? When did you first sign up at Crunch Gym?
About 2 months ago.
2 months ago? And
yes.
You didn't have any discounts or anything? You just signed
up?
No. Yeah, and so since you've been going there, the customers have been giving you strange looks for what?
Well, some people find my workout a bit strange. So that's the difference. I mean, I just don't work out to push a weight. What I do is that I do Taekwondo while I can actually do on a treadmill. Instead of walking straight, I'll actually crisscross my feet, or I'll walk a dirt in a certain way. So it makes the workout look a little different. Not to mention that I work out from 5 to closing, till like 11 o'clock at night. So people look at that and go, why is he working so hard with that long span of hours? You know, I work at least four or five times a day, and I travel all the way up to like Phillipsburg, New Jersey, and I live in Edison. That's time. That's a long time. That's over an hour and a half to get to work. I don't have that time to dedicate to a gym. So I crunch my workout into like 3 days, which would make sense.
Well, and also it's no one's business. You joined the gym, you paid your membership, but yet you're dealing with people harassing you. Now, from the video that I watched, did I read? I'm not read, but I hope I got this right. But someone spitting your water bottle. Like, what kinds of things have been happening to you at this gym?
Oh man, the jocks, or the jock clip or the bodybuilder clip, would watch as I do these workouts. Now, unfortunately, I was doing leg presses and I was hitting up to like 240. So I'm pushing 240 weight. I go over, I'm done with my workout. I go over to wipe down something, and you hear someone say, "Spit in his bottle, spit in his bottle." And it's, somebody mentioned, or like the reason why they don't like me is because I have too much endurance.
Well, regardless, I mean, you know, we're not talking about high school here. We're talking about adult life. You know, you're an adult, I'm an adult, you're going to a gym with adults who at least, you know, at least physically they're adults. That doesn't mean that mentally they are, as we can see. Yeah, yes. But you should not have to deal with that. Now, have you ever approached management in regards to this issue? And if so, what was their response?
Well, right now, as we're talking, I'm waiting for a response back. Obviously, you saw the video. I sent it to Crunch, and also I mentioned it. So we're waiting for a response from corporate and see what they have to say. Hopefully, they'll deal with the matter, and we'll see what happens there. Because I do like Crunch. I like the gym that I go to. It's just unfortunate that actually I can't go to that gym. You know, what do I have to do? Stop it and go to East Village and travel out, you know, or go to Greenwich or go to the West Village one just to, you know, be with my own kind? Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense because last time I checked, we're in the year 2013. And I'm pretty certain that we don't have segregation anymore, you know, and segregation doesn't just apply to racial issues, it applies to sexual preference issues, which is something that I'm very passionate about. I think anyone should be able to live their life any way that they want to. And, you know, let's talk about that a little bit before we get into the next issue that you've been dealing with as of late. It just has to do with living your life, being able to live your life, because all these issues of harassment that you've been dealing with, they've affected how you feel about yourself, because essentially it's bullying. That's what this is. Organized stalking is a form of bullying, and that's what's going on here with you. That's really what I firmly believe is going on, and it's really torn you down.
So back to the story of this great gym that actually so many people can't stand. All of a sudden, I hear someone's passing by me. And then all of a sudden I was like, I'm waiting for this fucking retard to get off the fucking machine. And I turn over, and it turns out to be one of the personal trainers from Crunch Gym. I'm getting scared for my life. So, when I heard that, I tried to be as brave as I could. Mentioned I recorded and had a freak out in the locker room, scaring the other people so the members would now have suggestions and maybe somebody else would be some sort of advocate and do something. Because nobody wants to stand up for me. So this is my way, my attempt to maybe tell others. Don't do what I do. This guy was literally two things away from me. Not even 2 steps away from me. And he's looking at me in such a way that actually he's ready to rip my head off. I haven't done a thing to anybody. So, there's my one problem with Crunch right there. I literally had to walk out. And now I'm in the midst of looking into pressing charges. I already tweeted what Crunch has done. Not the company itself, but basically its clients, its customers, and its staff. To let this go on for over 2 fucking months. No judgments, right?
I mean, in the video you did. You broke down, and it's heart-wrenching. But how have you felt? I mean, how did these guys at this gym make you feel? I mean, it seems like it made you regress back to when you were a kid, essentially, and that's not.
You said a mouthful. How these guys made me feel is, I felt like I was back in high school. I had to walk in there as I did beforehand. Actually, like I said, it was exactly like high school. I was the one to walk in there as a flaming queen and have these people come at me. And I kind of built up a shield. The minute that actually they went after me, I made it worse. I turned on the flame. So more people went out, the more that I turned it on and exposed it. Concept of I don't die, I amplify. So I project more, which scares people even more. With these jocks, it was probably the same thing. They would come towards me and make me feel inadequate. Or it would scare them in such a way because people don't like what's different. They feel that's what makes everything comfortable. And when I walk in, I'm abnormal to them, which scares them. So when they come after me, I have to amplify it so they will back off. It's not working anymore because there becomes a point where, it does have to stop.
It does have to stop. And, I actually, from what I've observed from working in the adult entertainment arena and from running some of my news sites, I think that a lot of gay bashing is actually on the rise right now. I feel like a lot of the issues that I dealt with in regards to being stalked over the years stemmed from having an immediate family member who was openly gay. And this is just something that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's something that does need to be talked about because everyone should be free to be exactly who they are. And no one has the right to try to suppress someone's behavior or alter their behavior. It's just wrong. But now let's get into what happened to you just recently in regards to you taking a trip to New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened with that?
Went over to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I love that. It's the only place where I can really clear my head. But I went over through the PATH station. I was Instagramming pictures. And I had an altercation with an officer because I was taking the picture for Instagram. Well, long behold, this is probably going to be maybe a scandal, unfortunately, for me. I believe so. The officer came at me and started screaming out, "Are you a terrorist?" Number one. To the point that literally scared me so much that I almost had a panic attack. I started shaking. It brought all strange memories. It was a complete disaster. By the time the paramedics got to me, I was hiding behind a wall, a sign, hidden behind there, crying my eyes out because this officer decided to, as they say, felt that he was protecting and serving his country. And that's me being general about it. I'm sorry, I didn't want to really too much go into too detail.
It's okay, but do you, so you're just walking around taking pictures, and yeah, this did happen around the time of the Boston Marathon bombing, right? But it's easy to get wrapped up in the moment. You're at a place where you're very passionate about the art and whatnot. You're having a fun day. But do you think that there was any sort of bias against your demeanor or sexuality from this officer that you felt was very aggressive towards you? Do you think that that's what some of it might have had to do with? Because I also think that you might have been profiled. I'm not sure what your ethnicity is, but you're white, you have the dark hair. That could have been part of it too, but still, I think that it went a bit out of control.
To be honest, I think we're all profiled. So,
yeah.
And you know what, I might have fit some sort of profile, and that actually just hit a click. But you never know, there's no proof behind that. Right. What I can say is that I was taking pictures, though I didn't get to take the snapshot. And I showed it to the officer. There must have been something that actually set him off. That he must have had to do something. And at the end, well, my experience was crying behind some corner because this is a man of authority. You can't just hit a man of authority. And I've been in a situation where a man that felt like he was in power brought down on me. And I can't defend myself against something like that. And it just leaves you helpless. And unfortunately.
Right, well it does, it really does. And in your particular situation, it just seems that you have been consistently, it's just escalated from when I first came across your blog to where you were victimized, which was, that wasn't minor, that was very major, but to where now you are actively rebuilding your life, moving forward, doing a great job, but it just seems like you're being surrounded by elements and individuals who are consistently tearing you down here, tearing you down there. And I don't think that you're the only person in the world that this is happening to. I have a lot of people reach out to me who are explaining, similar circumstances, not similar, but, parallel circumstances in their life. And really, I think what we have an epidemic of right now is that certain people who are very individualistic, who are just minding their business but not conforming, are being targets because you are not a conformist at all. You are doing your own thing in life, which is excellent. But I did want you to be able to relate to my audience what's been going on with you. You are not crazy. When I saw your video, I was in tears because I know what that's like to have people consistently around you saying, "You're crazy, you're paranoid, this isn't happening." No one's doing anything to you, but in many cases they are. In many cases, I think that there's times to where, you might not have purposely drawn attention from someone to where maybe you called them out, and then later they could do just a little minute thing to affect your life later. We talked a little bit about that, but sometimes that happens. But I do want you to tell my audience a bit more about yourself, what your interests are, where you want to go from here, because you were telling me that you feel that you're limited in life right now because of your past, but I feel like you're absolutely not. I think that this is a new beginning for you. But tell me a bit about where you see yourself, what you would like to do.
All right, well, Like you said, it's the second chance, and the reason why I feel so limited is that actually I feel as you know, I am a convicted felon. Apologize. I am a felon. I do have an aggravated assault charge. That's aggravated assault charge number 3.
That would stem from being abused.
Yes.
Yes, that's what we talked about in the beginning of the webcast. For those who might have missed it, Alex was abused psychologically and physically, and he chose to fight back. So people need to know the side of that story in regards to that issue.
Unfortunately, I did do the crime. I understand that. It was a slap on the wrist kind of a punishment, because the sentence carries about 15 years in prison alone with that one charge. So, for me to get 38 days, what was that? I was in 38 days in jail and to get, 3 years probation. Yeah, among other things. But when I'm thinking about it as for the future, everything is opened. It's going to be 3 times harder for me to try to obtain. So I'm just grasping, feeling out what actually may work. I mean, I don't mind being an intern someplace in some company and learning. I don't mind. I just want to learn.
You want a chance. You want a chance to start over. My viewers, they know that I've had to, really, really, really start over. But I do believe everyone deserves a second chance. Actually, there's a new adult industry webcast that a guy by the name of Rob Black, who was arrested for obscenity. He recently got out of jail with his wife, and he lost everything. He lost everything. He was a very successful pornographer, but he took the fall for a lot of people who basically, in my view, did set him up, and he's had to start over from scratch, but he's willing to do it. And I think it's excellent that you have the mindset.
You gotta start somewhere.
You do.
You gotta start somewhere. So like I said, you never know what the next step may bring, but you have to be willing to actually take that next step. And as you said before, welcome to the next level. Now I'm at the next level, I'm just like, really? This is the next level? What the fuck?
Well, I know. It's like, where are you? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Things feel a little bit different. Life's shifting a little bit. But what I do want to announce to my audience is that Alex and I will be collaborating on a new project. Not going to say the name of it yet because, we haven't even totally figured that out. But Alex, in my view, has a beautiful, beautiful personality, a great way about himself, as y'all can see. And he is very opinionated. Maybe more so than me. I don't know. But we're going to work on a new webcast, which I hope is something that we can, maybe do twice a month or once a week, something like that, on various issues, because one thing that I really feel needs a bit of awareness has to do with gay issues. There's a lot of things that need to be brought to light, because I don't like the gay bashing that's been happening within the adult entertainment sphere. Alex has a different perspective because he's not from that world, but he's witnessed and experienced things. And well, tell the audience a bit about how you feel about gay marriage. You don't have to go into detail, but I really love the way that you presented a certain issue.
It's more of a general idea. It's not the concept of gay marriage in its sense. It's the concept of marriage. I believe that actually a lot of people go into marriage and they don't have the idea, or they don't understand. Well, they do understand it. It's just to get swept away with it, and it's so forth. And there, things happen. And it just seems like a waste of time. And you go, I guess, 2-3 into it. And I believe that actually, if you're going to get married, it shouldn't feel like a process of a driver's license. It really shouldn't. You should know who you're marrying to. I mean, you should know them by heart. You have people marrying other people and then finding out 2 years later they're I'm sorry to be an extreme, a psychotic killer. You need to know your partner.
Yeah.
You need to know them rather well. And I'm not even rather well.
Very well. Very well. Yes.
And
yes.
A lot of people don't do that. And in the article, when we were talking about a little bit gay divorce, which is on the New Yorker, and I believe I have the article here.
All right, I will post the link when I edit this. I'll post the
Jesse
link.
Green, the New York magazine. Yes. And he gives a great expose, great ideas, great quotes from lawyers. And, you know, I've always heard about men or women talking about marriage. One quote he said, and it's said about this in the marriage, what happens afterwards that those people who stay together for 30 or 40 years, what happens when they get married? What's going to happen next is that there's going to be a shift. The shift is going to be those who want to rush right into it and those that actually are naive and young. Mm-hmm. And that's going to bring up the uprise for divorce because there's going to be a lot more problems to come, which is a very, very solid and groundbreaking point. And a lot of people don't realize this. And if this is not going to be pointed out, the problems that are going to be coming, we're going to be setting ourselves up. And I don't mean that as we, I'm talking about that as, you know, an entire country, as an entire community, as straight, gay, black, white, whoever.
That's a very compelling stance to take, and that is something that I hope to explore a bit more with you when we do our webcast, which will be coming sooner than many of you think. But thank you so much for taking the time to share your story with me today, and I do hope that especially the issue with the Crunch Gym does get resolved, and I think that things will become resolved in regards to what happened to you in New York. And keep your chin up, because I think you have a very bright future. Never ever believe that you are limited, ever. There are no limits. Sometimes we just get redirected. That's just how it goes. But I'll go ahead and end this webcast. But again, thank you for being here, and I will be bringing you back shortly.
Well, thank you, Monica. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to your fans as well.
Thank you for giving me the time, all of you. Please, thank you so much. I'm grateful. Very grateful. Thank you. It's the gay white boy who knows a white trash story. You know, every gay boy will be able to look at this and at least take a concept, an aspect, and look at it and know, you know what? I don't understand this, I don't understand that, but I do understand this. Oh my boyfriend is doing exactly this. How do I get out of it? What did he do? Oh, well, I can't do that. At least there has to be some acknowledgement to make them realize what danger they may be in. I just want that to be out there, to feel like that I did something.